Goodness gracious. It usually unmutes itself. So again, hello there, everybody. I am so excited to have you guys on tonight. We have a show that is going to be amazing. We have a wonderful guest. I see people already tuning in. Paranormally Blonde, thank you for showing up. I think Angelina might pop in. Of course, my infamous stalker Linda is on. So before we start, as I normally do, I tap into the weather. Good old Pennsylvania. We did hit in the mid 60s today. It says it's 48 tonight. We are supposed to have a severe frost tonight, maybe a freeze warning. So Pennsylvania for you. Love it though. I mean, when we was in the South, we had like real crazy, weird weather. So it's good to be back here in PA. We have a guest on tonight. Anybody that's familiar with her, her name is Brittany. She has her own page, Get Batty with Brittany. I think you can catch her on TikTok, and she also has a Facebook page. This woman is amazing. We've met her on different occasions. She has done a reading for us. She does magpie oracle. I know she dabbles in, I think, tarot, but not. Her specialties, magpie oracle readings. She is a psychic. She can tell you about clairvoyance and all the clairs. So be ready to ask her a lot of questions because I know I'm going to. She just came back from the Rock Island Expo here recently, so she'll have a lot to tell you about that. She did acquire some more dolls. She does collect dolls. So without further ado, we're going to bring our wonderful guest. Hello. There she is. How are you tonight?
Pretty good. I'm feeling less zombie-like after last weekend. I still I don't have my voice the whole way back, but it's coming along.
I cannot tell you how excited I am to have you on. I watched you when you was on Paranormally Blonde, the reboot, and I'm telling you, girl, you gave out a lot of information. Anybody that missed it, I'm telling you, go to Paranormally Blonde, the reboot. Sarah's on there. Brittany was on the first reboot. Amazing people. Rob Get Haunted. Was he on there that night? I can't remember.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought
that night. Yep.
They're amazing people. And there's a rumor going around that Rob bought the Conjuring house. No, folks, he did not buy the Conjuring house. So
you all wish.
Ryan Dayton from Paranormal Theory started it as a joke, of course, and people they don't have a good sense of humor these days, apparently, and takes everything seriously. So,
no.
But it was rather funny seeing that. I know my son-in-law fell for it, so it was pretty. He did.
Yeah,
he contacted me because we heard that Zach Bagans possibly bought it, and he contacts me this morning. He says Rob Stakovich bought that, and I said no, he didn't. He said you better check, and I said no, you better look because it was a joke.
Yeah, I mean, like that would have been cool, but no. I think it's back up again now. Like the last update I just saw like an hour ago or something like that, was that those people pulled out, whoever was going to pay off the mortgage pulled out, and now it's all back on again.
That's what I heard because I saw it show up on my page, my Facebook. Jason Hawes showed up. And because I know a lot of people were asking him if he was going to refund the money for the GoFund if somebody did buy it. And then just like you said, about an hour or so ago, he was on there and he says, well, the GoFundMe page is back up under in light of the news or something. So I don't know what's going on.
It's going to be chaos till somebody finally actually has a deed in their hand, and it's going to be what it's going to be. Like it's either going to be somebody in the paranormal community that's going to do right with it, or it's going to be somebody that exploits it, or it's going to be somebody that could care less about it being historic or anything at all. Well, it's going to be what it's going to be.
It kind of can't get any worse than what it was before. Like, I don't think, because I mean
unless they plow it over.
So who knows? So I mean, she's
It's not,
apparently,
I don't think it's rated as a historic site technically. So, I mean,
yeah.
Walmart could buy it and plow it over. Not that I think they would, anybody would, but like technically, crazier
I
things.
just saw a meme somebody put on there that said we know who the new owners are, and they showed Spirit Halloween.
Oh yeah, I think I saw Mary Jo share that earlier, and then I said to Rob not long ago, I was like, look, if somebody's gonna figure it out, we need like Maury Povich or like Jerry Springer to come back, like Montel, like if they could figure out who the daddy was of these men that don't even want to be found, like I mean, if somebody's gonna figure it out, I feel like they they have the credentials for it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. For those who may be tuning in that aren't really familiar with you, kind of tell everybody in a nutshell, or it doesn't need to be in a nutshell because we love you. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, and things like that.
I'm kind of like a jack of all trades of high strange, I guess. I've been a witch for as long as I can remember. I mean, I didn't even grow up with the term. I just grew up with family that kind of did folk practices and stuff like that. Um, and just learned, I mean, it was just very incorporated in my life from the time I was little. The same with like reading cards. My great grandmother read actually just a traditional deck of cards. I cannot, I cannot read cards that way.
How do you do a
Um,
traditional deck of cards? How do you read?
she knew what exactly each suit stood for. So I don't know this specifically. So like, tarot, you have say the swords, the suit of swords. So maybe that correlated with the spades or something like that.
Makes sense.
And then they all worked down, like she just knew what they all meant in her head. Um, so I learned the interest in that from like watching her do those kind of things. And then I don't know, I had my first deck of tarot cards when I was probably like 11 or 12, if not younger. And I don't know, I just learned to use them and learned to just they I don't know, they were just a part of me. And then I don't know, I went through a phase whenever I was in my teen years where I wanted nothing to do with any of it. I didn't like that my dad did those things or was into the paranormal or any of that kind of stuff. We weren't like kosher at the time. Um, and then I don't know, in my mid 20s or so, I kind of fell back on my journey. And then recently, within like the last year or so, I really, really did. And I realized that everything I was running from, for the most part, were my abilities and were my connections in this world, in the world before ours and the world after ours. And when I sat down and accepted all of that and trusted myself, my world has opened up like crazy. I've
Well,
met
when was the first time that you realized that you had abilities?
I mean, off and on, like my whole life. I mean, actually at Rock Island, I just had validation that memories or experiences that I had from my childhood, like I have these memories of having these dogs, of these two border collies. And it was only a couple years ago that I was literally like at a family reunion or something, and we were talking about dogs we had growing up, pets we had growing up, and I said about them, and my mom's like, no, we never had those dogs. And I remember their names. I remember like what they looked like, details, what happened to them, like all of it. And so then I kind of realized like maybe back then, like I even then was tapping into the memories of the property because I don't know who owned it like before my grandparents or anything even. And um so then like after that, then I kind of thought too like, well, maybe that's a past life memory breaking through. And actually I met many incredible people at Rock Island this past weekend, but Catherine from Hunger Nights, she's from Greece. We just randomly connected and she literally threw me through past life regression, like randomly having a cigarette one night.
Wow.
It was incredible. And I met my past life where all those memories came from. Um, and that even changed things and has me cracked even more wide open. So like, I mean, honestly, like when I was young is probably when I started experiencing these things. But like when I was growing up, if I would talk about them or anything, it kind of was like, no, you don't say that. Like, no, that's not real. No, you just have like a really good imagination or whatever. And I just kind of learned to shut up and not say anything about it. Um, as I got older, I started wanting to experience all that more. And my first major experience as an adult within like the last couple years was at Crescent. My two of my good friends and I went for one of their day tours. They were having like a festival up there, like 3 or 4 years, probably 3 or 4 years ago now. And we were just doing like a walkthrough, and I have a fancy digital camera, and I like to pretend I know how to take pictures. And so we were walking around taking pictures and just like feeling things out, and we were having like different things happen the whole time. But my friend Kayla, she'd never been around like anything like that. Knew she was sensitive, like, but just had never been on a location with that much. So she was like, we were up in the morgue by the morgue building, and she was like, I'm gonna stay outside. I'm gonna hang out by like the pavilions or whatever. She's like, it was my friend from high school, Shauna, and I. And so we go in, and I get lost in the building now when I go to try to find where we were. I know it was in that building, and I'm pretty positive I found the spot the last time I was there. But you like walk down this hall, and she walked into the room. I got stopped like a brick wall at the door. And then I felt myself get like pulled up out, and I could see the entire situation from the above corner of the room. And I could see myself like crying. I could see and hear Shauna like asking me questions and like talking to me like she knew. Like she'd experienced all this kind of stuff before, growing up and stuff like that, and was very much into everything. And like, walked through it and everything, and got me to kind of come back to me. And then we just had like little experiences and stuff throughout the day, like even further from that. So then like once I got home, I'm the type of person that has to know everything, and I have to research it all and figure out what all is going on and all of that kind of stuff. And I don't know, started practicing and getting more into things. And then I did an event, like a local event, like, cause I started crocheting and stuff like that. And I went to a local event that was more paranormally themed, and like found my people that day. Like I was like, heck with craft shows. I'm done with this. Like, this is what I want to do. Like, these are the people I want to be around. I started following, that same day I had that experience at Crescent was the same day that I learned what Hellier was, which if you've never watched Hellier, it's a rabbit hole. It's a fantastic rabbit hole, but it's it's a project by Greg and Dana Newkirk. They have a traveling museum and speaking tour. They're on the second leg of their speaking tour right now. Actually, they have a podcast on YouTube. They're incredible educators, and they investigate all things high strange. And so Hellier comes into play with that. But so like from them and watching them experiment and them learn and push the boundaries of what everybody does and what the human mind can do. And scientifically, like I'm a very like, I will debunk myself if I can. I will debunk any piece of equipment. I will anything, because I like the validity of it. And they, show in their research how it is a scientific, matter for your brain to have the clairs. Like that's what got me into learning about the clairs and developing them and accepting that I was a psychic medium and all of that kind of stuff. And then, eventually end up here to where I know all of you guys, and I'm teaching classes on the clairs with Paranormally Blonde and going to all these crazy events.
I think what you do is fascinating. Like I said, I tuned in when you were on Paranormally Blonde, and I was late. Like I didn't catch it at the beginning of the show, but I was just totally fascinated by the knowledge that you do have on all of that stuff. I was going to ask you too. What do you call it when, because we're just kind of learning some stuff now about, because we know that we have some abilities, but we don't know where it's at. I know we've already done a little bit of psychometry. We've already had
So
experience that.
the best way to figure out which ones you have that are the strongest are to work through my meditations that I have on the Paranormally Blonde workbook. So along with my lessons, the sheets that are on that page, I have ADHD. I'm not very good at meditation, or what most people consider meditation. So I took some ideas from remote viewing and from what just works for me, and created these worksheets that you can do them at home. You can do them on a location. I've set them up like both ways. And it has you set aside, like, what's going through my brain right now? Like, I need to get dog food on my way home, or I wonder what the heck's wrong with my car, or I need to schedule an oil change, like stupid stuff like that. Like, set that aside. And then you set aside what you can. So like, say you were doing it on location. So say I was at Crescent, I'm sitting in a jail cell. I set aside the water dripping I can hear. I set aside the wind blowing I can hear. I set aside my other teammates outside in another room chattering that I can just barely hear. I set those all aside. You don't have to like write them down in massive detail, but you set those aside. Then there's specific questions you ask yourself. What do I smell that shouldn't be here? What do I hear that shouldn't be here? What do I just know? What do I feel, taste, touch, all of that? And it goes through all of those. So when you're done with that worksheet, the boxes that you filled in correlate to individual clairs. And those are your strongest. I personally believe everybody has them all. Psychic mediums, I think we just naturally are able to touch like right into them right off the bat. But I honestly think it's something that everybody can learn. So if you have one that you wrote nothing in a box for, eventually, if you work on them, you'll be able to fill something in that box. It might not be as strong as your other ones, but you'll still be able to have somewhat of that ability. A lot of them I'm working on sheets now that I'll have on that page in a couple days, where a lot of them work together. So clairsentience and clairempathy both work together because they're both feeling. One might be physically feeling, one might be emotionally feeling, but they're still feeling. If you're good at one, you're probably good at them both. Taste and smell go hand in hand. Clairvoyance and claircognizance kind of go hand in hand. So if you have one, normally you have the other one, and they're easier to work on together then. So like I'll have, little groupings. I'll have some other like tips and tricks and stuff like that that'll come up with those sorts of things. And I have some like tips and tricks on there too. Like I don't sit still, constantly moving. I'm not one to sit. Thank you, Sarah. So I always have something to fidget in my hands. I'm working on coloring sheets that I'm not going to lie. I used AI. But each Claire is a girl from a girl group, kind of like the craft. I have a Mean Girls version too. So like each girl looks very aesthetically like what they can do or what they know and are and all of that. And so I'm eventually just going to turn them into black and white, like outlined coloring sheets that if you're sitting at home and you're trying to develop these abilities and work on them, you mindlessly can be coloring while you're doing that. If you have a fidget toy, those are great. I use palm stones and just flip them in my hands. A drumstick, if you're a musician or whatever, roll a drumstick in your hand while you're doing it. Stuff like that. It keeps your physical mind and body busy while you're trying to figure out what your other senses that you don't use all the time are feeling. Because we learned as a species, as a society, we learn to block them out. They are our number one biggest alarm system. It's that feeling when you walk past a room full of people and you're like, I shouldn't go in there. You don't know why you shouldn't go in there, but your body tells you shouldn't go in there. That's a Claire working.
What do you call it, Brittany? I mean, I can't say premonition, but I have this. I'll have a vision, but sometimes it's just a feeling. Usually, like many years ago when I was pregnant with Gabriella, my husband and my son was in a car accident, and they were by themselves in the car, but I was in the car with my oldest daughter. I saw them being in the car accident to the exact T happen as it was actually happening.
So that's the claircognizance, clairvoyance. Those two hand in hand. You see it and you know it's happening. I call them the more psychic of the abilities of the clairs. They are the premonition. They are the dreams that something is going to happen. They're the knowing before you know, before you should know. It's that seeing things before they happen. It's not always before they happen. I mean, like you could see into the past and stuff like that too, but that's definitely clairvoyance and claircognizance.
Yeah, because usually, mostly when I get that, it's usually a feeling like, and some of the members of my family, right when they were getting ready to pass, I got the chills really bad, and you could throw me in next to a heater and those chills wouldn't go away. And I always say, okay, something's happening and it's not good. Somebody's either passing away right now or something bad is happening. So it's usually feeling, but when they had that accident, I actually saw, and when I talked to my husband, Tom, he told me everything I saw in my vision of that accident is exactly how that accident happened. And I never knew, because I didn't want to call it a premonition, because I apparently I was having this vision and feeling as it was actually happening. So I wasn't sure what it was called.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much claircognizance and clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is the seeing. They all are. Clair means to see clearly, or just clearly. So that's all of them are all of those senses that we don't realize we have, like experienced clearly. So for you, for that, I would consider that clairvoyance. And a lot of times, when we don't know we have them, it's under the highest moments of stress and anxiety or fear or fight or flight or anything that they kick in tenfold, because they're there all along. But like I said, they're your body's biggest alarm system. So when you're under that kind of stressful situation or something like that's happening to somebody that you're so connected to, they kick in.
Wow. Yeah, because it was kind of like, after the, like, I knew my oldest daughter, she kept on saying, Mom, it's just you're pregnant, no, there's nothing going on. Next thing you know, I see my husband walking up the road, in the middle of the road, and I'm there, that's Tom. And they're like, oh shit, they did have an accident. And he tells me in exact detail. And I'm there like, I looked at my daughter, I was like, see, I told you. Like, but it was scary because I'm there like, that's not something like, I don't want to know that a family member's dying or somebody's just been in an accident. So it is scary.
It's taken me a while. Like I saw somebody in the comments even ask, like, how do I feel when I experience things like that?
Questions, Matt, if you want.
I mean, it's hit or miss, to be honest. I'm way, way better at being calmer about it now. Now that I'm so open to things and so, I don't want to say used to it. I'm not used to it. Because every
you never get used to it.
Well, and exactly. And every experience that I have feels different. I'm working through a different situation, a different, whatever. And I guess it doesn't freak me out as badly as it used to. Like I used to like freeze and freak out or like get sick. Or like have anxiety so bad from seeing one thing that it would ruin everything up until like I realized what that vision was from or that feeling was from or whatever. And I've kind of kind of gotten to the point where like I experience it. Sometimes it's an adrenaline rush or a freak out immediately. But then I take it, I sit with it, I give it its space, I give it its respect and its attention in that moment. But then I also know that there's nothing I can do. Usually, I mean, if it's a message for a specific person, like I'm gonna get that part of it. But if it's that kind of premonition, clairvoyant, like dream or vision or whatever, I usually don't have enough pieces to connect exactly what it is, or what I'm experiencing. So if I sit there and I let myself be anxious about it and just stress over it and don't live my life for that entire day until XYZ happens, and I'm like, oh, that's why I saw that. I've learned to just not let myself. Like, I know that in time it'll all become clearer. Or like, you know, if I sit with it, it can come to me and become clearer. But that's one thing you can't let them control you either.
See, I don't have time for them to come clear. I'm going to be 66 years old, so my time's running out.
Yes, Sarah, like when the lady came to visit me for you.
Another question, like where you were talking about past lives and that, do you think that everybody has lived a past life, and a lot of the people that do have abilities or have the clairs, that it was because of the past life they lived? Like, how do you feel about all of that?
So for me, some people have never lived past lives. Some people, this is their first go round. I think most psychic mediums, I think we've lived a lot. I think that's why we're so well-rounded in the clairs, and just more naturally in touch with all of them. And it's easier for us to break through and beyond and communicate through the veil, because we've been back and forth through that already numerous times through our past lives. And I think the more lives you live, the more well-rounded and pure that inner spark, that inner soul that we have, becomes. And, you know, eventually you've lived enough of them that you are that ultimate, I don't want to say like godlike being, because it's not like that, but like you become that well-rounded being that you need to be, and you don't need to live through all of these lives anymore. But I think the ones of us that are the closest to that and are there to guide and things like that, it's because we've lived, you know, quite a few. The difference for me between a medium and a psychic, you deal more with most of the clairs, honestly. It's more of a divination, predicting the future almost, or just know. It's not always the future, just knowing. Medium to me is, that's the part of me that communicates with spirit. That's the part of me that, you know, if it's when a spirit comes to me, like, and they're just having a conversation with me, that's the medium part to me. The psychic part is, if you ask me, where's my life going to be in 6 months, 10 months, 6 days, whatever, that's the psychic part I'm tapping into. It may be a different definition for a lot of other people. But at least for me, and I don't know, for me, they go hand in hand a lot of the times too.
How do you handle, Brittany, with having all this knowledge, excuse me, and knowing, being a psychic, and how do you handle when people are very skeptical and they say, you know, yeah, you claim to be a psychic and that, but you're full of shit, you know, I don't believe in them. Like, how can you prove this to me? Because right away people think that just because you're a psychic that you should be able to have already won the lottery big, and you should have been able to predict this and that, you know, like, and how would you explain that to people that it's just not like, oh yeah, I'm a psychic. I can win the $1 million lottery tomorrow because I know what the
Right.
numbers are going to be.
I always describe it that it's like any sort of sport or any sort of, I don't want to say hobby, but like it's not something that's always, you're not always going to be on. Um, you're not always going to have the energy to tune in the right way. The same way, like if I used to throw in track, there were days that I could throw a javelin forever. And there were days that I was like, not happening, like, so some days you're going to be more tuned in than others. I mean, and for me, like there's a whole lot more that goes into it, like witchy stuff, lunar cycles, like whatever, without getting into all of that kind of parts of it. But personally, for me, I love equipment. I absolutely adore equipment. If I'm going to set up a seance, I'm going to set up a reading, I'm going to set up anything, I've got equipment with me. I mean, like if you're coming to my table like for a reading or something like that, I generally don't. Or if anything, I have, let me look at my phone real quick. I can tell you what it's called. I cannot ever remember the name of the app that I use. Transcend. So Transcend was developed by psychic mediums. It's kind of like a obelisk kind of app. But I'm not very technical in how it works. I've watched the descriptions of how it works and it makes sense in my brain. I am not good at describing how it works. There is a gifted psychic medium. She goes by the Bolesky on TikTok. She uses that app and she can describe it to a T how it works. So if you are interested, that helps. But I like having that run. Patty actually also uses one. She was kind of my inspiration for that, Patty Negri. She also likes to use like a REM pod halfway down the table or a tripwire or something like that. Like nothing crazy, nothing insane. But it helps. It helps people believe. I've also set up mag lights or anything like that I say something and that mag light kicks on. I say something that I'm feeling, seeing, sensing, whatever, and an obelisk, my tempest, whatever, comes up and says the exact same name, the exact same date, the exact same whatever. But if you don't believe me, you don't believe me. I don't get offended.
I think that's just it. I think it's like anything else, not to interrupt you.
No.
People are going to believe what they want to. It's look how many people have bad feelings about the paranormal in itself. So I think the biggest problem in this, that's why I'm love having you on the show. It's because people need to learn about it. Because if they don't understand it, they're automatically going to be skeptic about it. If they have that knowledge about it and can learn about it, then they're going to have a better understanding and be more willing to accept that, hey, yeah, I personally know when you did your magpie reading for us, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. And I also saw
I didn't really know you guys yet.
No, you didn't. Yeah, you knew nothing about us. And then even when we did our investigation, you were spot on over at the jail. You pretty much, we didn't tell you anything, and you picked up everything that we did our research on. So you are pretty darn amazing. I will tell you that.
That's even for me, even to like accept all of it. Like I had to be validated and validate myself a million times over. And really have people like Patty in my corner that were like, girl, claim your title. Like, like you really are doing this. Like you really can help a lot of people. And I was like, why not?
I've never been in a seance before, but that seance that she did, that was amazing.
Yeah, I actually just signed up for her classes to learn how to do hers the way that she does them.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Brittany, I know that you just acquired some stuff that I'm sure you would love to show everyone. Now, I know you do magpie. What's that?
Those two I will not bring on camera.
Okay.
Because I do not know all of their bits and pieces and trades and all that yet. They're not in this room, and they're also insanely heavy. But I will talk about them. Because, well, their previous father, I don't think is in the chat anymore, but he was. He gave up his rights to them, and we brought home some family members, some new family members from Rock Island, which I guess they were in Pennsylvania originally. They took a journey to Illinois and then took a journey back to Pennsylvania. So I don't know how happy they are about that. But at least they're in the Appalachian Mountains now. They're not wherever Rob lives. So yeah, so my husband, he's into this like whole world and everything too. He's actually developing his own abilities. He doesn't like to say he is, but he is. He doesn't like to acknowledge them, but then he like pops off with like random comments, and I'm like, so you're experiencing that too? Like, say something. So we like dolls, and Rob had quite a few of his friends at Rock Island, and we brought 2 of them home. If you're interested in seeing them, their pictures are on my Facebook. You can follow me, Brittany and Schaefer, or Get Batty with Brittany. I think they're on both pages. They're at least on my regular page. They're different. I had to give them a talking to. When we
one of the mods bring up all of her information for us, please.
Okay. We loaded them in the car Saturday night before we did our investigation and stuff. And I had like, I don't know, like extra tablecloths and blankets and like random stuff in the car from my other stuff being wrapped. And they're in big, heavy cases, like glass and wood cases. So we had them wrapped. Car locked completely. We were in some interesting areas of Illinois when we were at the hotel and everything. Come out the next morning, and one of them is completely unwrapped on the top. And I was like, okay. Nice. So we go to leave to come home, and I pull my GPS up on my phone, and my phone starts glitching like crazy, flashing back and forth between home screen, lock screen, home screen, lock screen. Wouldn't do anything, couldn't touch it, couldn't turn it off, couldn't restart it. Then my Gemini pops up and says, "What did you say?" I'm like, Gemini, I did not prompt you or say anything to you. However, restart my phone, please. So thank God Gemini listened to me and restarted my phone. I then turned around in the car and I said, look, I get you are up to some stuff, but we're not going to have that in the car ride home. So like you got 11 to 12 or like 12 to 15 hours of being Have. I will then get you out of the car. You will come into our house where you still will not be up to anything nasty. Like we gave them very strict talking to because my grandma lives with us. And I was like, there'll be no messing with her, no messing with the cats, no messing with anybody's livelihood, wealth, anything like that. So far, the one in the white case has not really done anything yet. Its drawer has rattled underneath it. The one in the other case with the yellow dress, I have pictures so far. Her head was straight on, and now her head is like this. And it's like, Mike was like, oh, she turned her head to watch TV. And I'm like, we'll go with that. So I'm not sure all of their bits and bobs yet of those 2. However, in here, I do have a couple other friends. Lawrence is out. Lawrence, the one that I took, he's in my promo for Rock Island and who I took to Rock Island. He's a Charlie McCarthy doll. So everybody was like kind of scared to take selfies with him. I had to write he's friendly. And then I did have his aura photography done to prove that he has a very beautiful orange aura. I have a yellow aura, even though people love to say that I'm dangerous or crazy or whatever. I have the brightest yellow aura. So the proof is in science there. Thank you. Yeah, he has a beautiful orange aura, and I got that aura photography done and set it at my booth to prove to people like he is friendly. You can take pictures with him. You can hang out with him. Like he's awesome. He hangs out in a lazy boy in the living room with my gram most of the time.
Yeah.
They watch all kinds of judge shows, QVC. It's hard to say really, but he gets an education. This one is actually my husband's favorite doll.
How many do you have, Brittany, altogether?
Let me see. 11.
Wow. You've got a collection
11.
going.
Yeah, I think we have 11. And then I have a haunted painting, and I have a we own Archie Bunker's casket. He was
Really?
cremated. John Connor O'Carroll. He was cremated technically, but he was viewed, for his funeral and like all of that kind of stuff. And we own that casket.
How did you get his casket?
So my great uncle is a woodworker. His best friend from high school, after graduation, became a funeral director, and he moved to Hollywood, to Las Vegas, or no, not Los Angeles, I believe. I think it was Los Angeles. It might have been Hollywood. Anyway, worked at this funeral home for eons, was retiring, and they ended up, the funeral home, the company that owned it or whatever, sold out. And when they sold out, it was like a newer people that bought it, and it was an old Victorian funeral parlor, and they had like a museum set up in there. So like that casket was in there. They had big huge candelabras. Like, I don't know if you remember the candelabras that I had set up in Patty's room.
Yes.
Around the seance. Those were some of them from that funeral home. But whenever these new people took it over, they were just tossing all of this stuff. And so my uncle's friend was moving back home. They were like, take it. We don't want it. It's going in the dumpster if you don't want it.
Wow.
And so he loaded up a massive U-Haul and brought it back home. And he did have like a little museum for a while set up in Duncansville, like the antique place there. And there was like I have the news story like saved from it and all that kind of stuff to prove that it is that casket. There was like a news article and news story and like all of that stuff. Well, my uncle had fixed it. The corners were starting to come like undovetailed, and he fixed it. So when the guy ended up taking down like, the museum like intern or whatever was over, he gave my uncle the casket. Well, he's my great uncle. He's getting up in age, and he's like, this thing's a pain in the butt to move around my house when I want to clean or this or that or anything. And so he called me up one day and he was like, look, come get it. He was like, you can have it. I know you like weird stuff. So
do you get any vibes from it?
Oh yeah. I haven't had the chance to like record investigating with it and stuff, but like it, like every once in a while we'll throw equipment in there or something like that, and like things constantly go off.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
This is Martha.
She's pretty. I like it.
She has human hair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mike found her in Gettysburg.
Do you know how old she is? Do you have any history like that on her?
I've tried to find exactly like her doll. She's not porcelain. Like, she's plastic. But she has real human hair.
Yeah, that's odd.
Which is odd to me.
Yeah.
And how you test if a doll has human hair is you thank the doll and you nicely pluck a piece of its hair, and when you burn it, you can tell. You can tell if it's human hair or not, because human hair burns totally differently than...
It has a smell to it, too, a different smell.
Mm-hmm. And horse hair is way thicker. Like they sometimes make dolls with horse hair. Yeah, she has real hair, and she has pretty different weird eyes. I don't know if you can see them on camera, but she's got weird eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find her staring at you a lot?
Sometimes. She's friendly though. She's not too bad. I don't know. I have kind of a story for her, but kind of not a story for her. I just get overall energy for her, I guess. I know her name's Martha, and I know that she had like a big household. Like, I see like her kids and her grandkids, but she's kind of strict. Like, I see them running through her house, and her like yelling at them to stop running through the house. Yeah. I mean, I think time period wise, she's a good bit older. like, because I see like farmhouse, like early 1900s, like Little House on the Prairie kind of house, kind of
She
deal.
does throw that vibe out, like she
Mhm.
lived on a farm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then her best friend is Harriet. Harriet is probably she's probably my favorite doll. Other than Lawrence. I love Lawrence too.
Oh, look at her. Yeah, she is pretty.
Yeah, a friend of mine, her head is not very secure. She is like, I don't even know how to describe the material she is. She's not plastic, but she's not porcelain. She's like some kind of old plaster. Um, I can't, when I try to look her up too, I can't find her.
Hmm.
There's dolls that look similar to her, but not any that are like her, and not any that are jointed the way that she is. You can see she's missing a little bit of a finger there. Where's that? Yep, right there.
Aw.
Like, she's a very strange, I don't know how to describe like what she's made out of. Like, it's not plastic. Almost like where her finger is broken off. Like, honestly, it looks like it's wood.
Wow.
Like she's wood and then like coated or painted over. Um, but she would have been like a very Jane Austen would have written a book about her kind of deal. Um, she just gives me like the vibes that she was very, very sophisticated, very educated, was the oldest, maybe oldest or closest to oldest sister in like a family, and was like too smart to want to find a man kind of deal. And, and or not to find the right one, and like her family just wanted her married off because like that's, that was success back then. And because she's not from America. I would say she's probably from overseas. It's somewhere in England, or somewhere in England somewhere. um but I see her like almost like falling in love with somebody that she shouldn't have, but she drowned somehow before, like, before she can get married, before she can get anything. Like, that was the first thing I felt when I picked her up, was that she drowned.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So how did Martha and her become friends? How did that come about?
So when Harriet I had first, a friend of mine that came to the festival at the jail, brought her for me, and we had her sitting in her bedroom. I knew she was like, friendly and like cool and everything, and could be out like in general pop. And then Mike found Martha, and he just, like, for whatever reason, sat her right in Harriet's lap. And we have dolls that you can tell don't like to be near each other.
I was just going to ask you that.
Those two don't like to be apart. So they always sit. I don't know if you can see them where my chair is in the way. But they sit in each other's laps.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They don't like to not. They've just like made a bond, made friends, whatever, and they don't like to be apart. I have two down here that you just caught a quick glimpse of too that I'll pull up. They also do not like to be apart. If they are apart, the cat goes absolutely ballistic. Like, I don't know if they like mess with him to get our attention. Like, hey, we're not like, because at one point I had them sitting on a little love seat together, and somehow she got knocked off. And I knew, because like they were in a part of the house that I don't frequent all the time. And I knew by how the cat was acting that, like, okay, like something's
up.
And these two I can't find matches for either. There are dolls that are similar, but they don't look like these guys. They had to have been handmade by somebody at some point, probably maybe to replicate the popular like set that are out and about. The popular set that are out and about remind me of like Mr. Wilson, is what the guy one looks like, and the old lady one looks the same. These two aren't like that. And the people that we got them from, we knew they didn't want them. Like, they were like, please take these. Please, for the love of God, take these.
Wow.
We can't get rid of them. But like we don't want, like, you know, don't want to, like, you know, get rid of them. But like, please take them. So let me introduce you to Albert.
Look at him.
Yeah, he's kind of scary.
He puts me out as somebody's grandpa.
I know, right? Wait till I show you his hands. That's like my favorite part. Or his creepy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, insanely realistic.
You're not kidding.
Yeah.
He's staring at me.
Yeah. So this is Albert. He gives people headaches. He actually has never given me a headache. Now that I say that. He's always got his fist ready to go. I don't know why. Gonna knock somebody out. But the first time my husband ever held him, he gave him a headache. He's given a couple other people headaches. I don't know yet if it has something to do with how he passed or just what he likes to do. We haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, he's pretty cool though. I mean, he does put me in mind of somebody's grandpa. And those hands, yeah, it's like a human hand on there, like that's how detailed.
And this is his wife, Loretta.
Look at her. They do look like, yep.
He's also just as detailed.
Oh wow.
Like,
that's crazy. And she even has a shooting band on.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That is something else.
And to me, she's more unsettling than he is, but
her eyes are like his was kind of, hers looks like they want to pierce right through you and read.
Somebody made them, like had to have made them, like their ankles. I never even really looked, but like their ankles are like perfect, and their little shoes. Wow. And like somebody hand sewed like all of their outfits and like her bloomers underneath. And
wow.
Like, sorry girl, I'm showing off your business. Dress here. Yeah, like the fact that they're handmade, I mean, sometimes is a big deal too. Because it's just the energy that goes into them, you know, even if it's not bad. Oh my God, Leah, yes, he does. He probably does. He has those kind of vibes. I honestly get the feeling he doesn't like his outfit. I'm actually gonna sew him a different outfit. Like when I see him in my head, he has on just like, oh, this sounds messed up, almost like the Ed Gein outfit. I don't think he does that sort of thing, but he has like that kind of cabbie kind of hat, and he has just like a white shirt and like darker slacks and suspenders, and like he's pretty ornately dressed up with a massive bow tie. And
yeah,
I don't think, it's just not his vibe.
Yeah, the clothing doesn't seem to fit him. Like I kind of saw him with almost like you said, like a white shirt, like a t-shirt or something, but like bibbed overalls or something almost.
Yeah.
You know, something like more.
Yeah, like I see him like working or something like that. Yeah, having something like that on. Yeah, he doesn't. I don't know who dressed him, but this is not. I don't even know what this material is. Like, if you could feel this material in person, it looks like leather, but it feels like, I don't know. It's weird. He does not like it.
Yeah,
but I don't want him to just be sitting around naked. So
then you'll have.
He's stuck in it. He's stuck in it until I have time this winter to sew him some new breeches.
We had Linda was asking if you think modern dolls have energy in them too, or just the older dolls.
They can be any age. I had a Cabbage Patch doll that was like from the mid-90s. He was haunted. people have toys nowadays a lot of times that get haunted, or that just spirits realize they can interact and play with. I think the more unique the doll and the more handmade the doll, the more spirits and energies are attracted to it. Because I think we would be more attracted to something that looks like us. So we're going to be more apt to inhabit a doll than we are a rocking horse or a light bright, or like, you know what I mean? Like something like that. I mean, if it was me, I would probably try to inhabit a Furby or something like that. I think that would just be like a blast. But I think, they don't have to be antique dolls. I think sometimes antique dolls, they've just the reason they end up more haunted is because they've experienced more. They've been around more tragedy. They've been around more yeah, exactly. They sometimes they're not haunted by a specific spirit. They're haunted by the things they've experienced.
Mm.
They almost take on their own personality and their own, like, especially if they were treated like a person. Like some people treat their dolls just like people.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of them just like people.
I noticed when I was growing up, like especially some of my baby dolls that I had, back when I was growing up, a lot of the people, when they got their little girls' dolls, they made handmade clothes for them. Mm-hmm. And they always tried to make clothes to match an outfit that, like my mom would make clothes for my doll that would match what my outfit was. So yep. Possibly that could
you almost create like a little body double sometimes. Yeah. It's got a piece of your energy in it or somebody's energy in it. Sometimes I think it's spirits that weren't taken care of or weren't paid attention to in life, and they see a person or a child or anybody really, really being taken care of, and they miss that being taken care of. So, what better way to feel that love that they didn't feel in their waking life or whatever than to inhabit a doll and have their hair brushed and their hair, their clothes changed and all of that kind of stuff. And they don't have, the dolls from before, like they just have a lot more energy in them than they did. Yeah, exactly. Than they do now. Things were made with more intent back then. They were made with more care, more purpose. Mm-hmm. One of the dolls that I have that's in our bedroom, which she probably should not be in our bedroom. But that's just where she's ended up. She is not a she that inhabits the doll, for one. But I know that the doll itself was made with intent to be protective. It was made during World War II. It was made to when a mother and child were separated, to go with that child as a talisman of protection. So sometimes I think it's the mother's energy that goes into a doll, or a family's energy, whatever, that goes into a doll that gives that doll spirit. Sometimes I think a spirit guide steps into that role. There's so many possibilities and different feelings that I've kind of run into that it's not all the same. Like I have dolls here that absolutely, like Lawrence, I could give you most of his life story. Like he was absolutely a person. I've looked him up. I could probably find his history if I tried. There are a few dolls that I have like that. There's one doll that Mike refers to her as our portal doll because she feels different every single time. And I think it's because something different for whatever reason, whatever it is, that physical doll, whatever it experienced, just has the ability to be an open box or open whatever train station kind of deal sometimes it's this one here, sometimes, you know, like it's just, there's always something different in passing with that doll.
What were the dolls called based on deceased loved ones?
The ones, I don't have any personally from like my deceased loved ones. Albert and Loretta, I haven't picked up on much of their family. Now like Harriet and Martha, they absolutely were people. Now I have no clue precisely who their family would be now, and they're both from pretty far back time periods.
Do you have any dolls that you have to keep? Not necessarily like the Annabelle doll where they have to keep her in that case. Do you have any that you have to really be careful with? And do you have any that seems like they need to be with you all the time, or like maybe jealousy or something? Like, hey, no, I need to be with her.
Right. So like I said, this room that I'm currently in right now, I mean, my whole house is protected. The room that I'm in right now, though, is ultra protected. So any of the ones that I feel aren't right or have the potential to be tricksters or whatever end up in here. That's why Albert and Loretta are in here. Harriet and Martha, they do not need to be in here. They don't have to be in here. They're in here right now just because I had them filming on a podcast stuff before. They do not have to be in here. The two that I adopted over the weekend, they will migrate in here. They're still on their 7-day hold period. Just via my instructions, I told them they weren't up to any bullshit for 7 days. But once I actually start investigating with them and actually acknowledging them, they'll be in here, at least until I know any different. I don't know. If I would never probably give up any of my dolls, just because I form attachments to them. And because some of them, I think if I didn't have them, would not show the same respect to somebody else. I don't think that Albert and Loretta showed respect to that family they were with before, which is why I have them now. I know for a fact the two that I got this weekend have, I wouldn't say have done anything nasty or like anything bad per se, but like they've been caught moving.
They're gonna be little troublemakers, huh?
And all weekend, those two, and there's one other that Rob has that had we had the room, my husband probably would have brought it home too. But the three of them, like there were multiple people all weekend that I watched be like, nope, I'll take any of the rest of them home, but not the two of them. I don't know. Like they don't feel good. They don't feel great to me, but for me anyway, like they don't feel like anything I can't handle, or at least they know that like, I know their intention. I know what they are. I know what their deal is. Like, they know they can't mess around on me. You know what I mean? Like if you sent them home with somebody that didn't have kids kind of deal, like, I mean, I don't have kids, but like, that would be like for me, like if you sent them home with somebody that has no experience with dolls, has no experience with haunted objects, has no experience with energies or anything like that, whether it be a spirit or anything else you believe in. If you aren't aware of that, I mean, they can wreak havoc. They really can. And whether they're man-made or not, they can wreak havoc, and they will. They absolutely will. If you have no clue what they are and you just brought it home because you thought it was cool, I mean, something really, really can affect you. But I think like for me having them, like I'm aware of that. Like I mean, honestly, read Patty's book. You want to know how to handle a haunted doll, read Patty's book. You want to know how to handle any kind of haunted object, whether it's somebody haunted it themselves or a spirit or an entity decided to haunt it. That book really teaches you how to break it down and do it in like layman's terms and how to take care of them and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's something I had kind of just trial and error and like just learned on my own and everything else to have like, you have to have your own authority and your own boundaries for anything. It doesn't even have to be a haunted object. Any kind of transient energies or locations you go to or anything like that. Like if you don't have your boundaries, it doesn't matter what kind of energy it is, it's going to mess with you.
Right. I think it gets back to the beginning too, where we were saying you need to have that knowledge and understanding about these things before you say, hey, yeah, that looks cool. I want that, you know. I think there's a lot of people out there that go and get that stuff and they don't really understand that, hey, you may be getting into something you can't handle. The next thing you know, they're saying, hey, can you take these off of my hand?
Yep. The Patty I'm talking about is Patty Negri. She's I believe it's called Dollcraft. I don't have it in the room with me in here, but that's the book. She just came out with it. I believe it released in June. She had it at Rock Island with her.
So now we're a little bit over an hour. I don't know how long you're going to be able to be on, but I was going to have you also, I know you're a magpie oracle, if you wanted to get into explaining to anybody that may not understand or know what that's all about, if you want to get into.
I have a little bit of time left. I can't say forever, or I will not get up. I will not be able to get my husband up.
Yeah, you're still tired.
But no, I don't have my kit in here with me. I do have my new kit that I have, or my new cards that I got today. Some random stranger, not a clue who. I'm sure somebody will tell me that they bought them for me eventually. But so my main style, my preferred method of throwing or divination or anything like that is called Magpie Oracle. So what it is a lot of people call it charm casting. It has ties into that. It has ties into bone throwing, has ties into Lenormand tarot, which was one of the original versions of tarot. But ultimately, how it works is they're all pieces that I have collected like a crow would, like a magpie. So things that mean things to me. So in my kit, I have coins, I have dice, I have human teeth, I have a wishbone, I have dried flowers, there are raccoon teeth, I have coyote claws, I have arrowheads, pieces of fossilized wood, amber, stones, all kinds of stuff. And they all sit in a oxen horned bowl that I have. And I throw on a rabbit's pelt. And I just read the last comment. Yeah, I know.
That's right? What I was just looking at.
Days and days. So what I do is I set you through some grounding exercises. I have you do some deep breathing with me, and then I have you open your energy center is what I call it, your heart chakra. And the way I have you do that is you literally internally feel like you're giving me a hug. And that just gives me the ability to like read you better. My spirit guides can communicate with your spirit guides, and it just opens you completely, like nothing held back. And then I have you, once you're ready, I have you ask your question. It normally can't be anything that is too specific. I don't like yes or no questions. I mean, could I throw that way? Probably, but that's not how that read works. And you don't want anything too broad either. Like, am I going to become a millionaire? No, I don't know. Who knows? So like a lot of times people ask me, like, what are the pros and cons for me staying at the job that I'm at right now? What is my life path for the next 3 months? What do I need to work on to bring better things into my life? Like stuff like that. It's a very very earthbound, very grounding form of reading. Yeah, anybody wants a reading, by all means, look me up, hit me up. I can do them virtually if you're local. I mean, most of you probably aren't, but if you are local to where I'm at, we can meet up somewhere. I like to do it outside. I prefer to be barefoot when I'm doing readings, but obviously that doesn't always work out, and virtually works really well as well. I'm always at local events. If you're local too, there's an event on Halloween. It's called Hexenfest. It's the Bottle Works in Johnstown. I will be speaking there and doing my readings. There'll be a lot of other talented other readers and diviners and stuff there too as well. But then once you ask me your question, I concentrate on that and I filter all of those pieces through my hands, almost like I'd be shuffling a deck. And when I feel it's right, I throw. And when I throw, yeah, Sarah, that's it. That's how I make my money. So then I throw and I look at how all the pieces laid out. And from how they all lay out, they tell me a story. And then I interpret and tell you that story. And that's how the read kind of works. And it's usually a lot more in depth. And then, a lot of things just like connect and make more sense. And there's things that I don't even realize have pulled and come through that you'll see and pull and come through that'll, be significant, like a number or a symbol or something like that, that I don't even realize are going to be so significant. And they usually end up being that way. I love it. I also, I can read regular tarot. It's not that I don't like to. I just like different things. I have a lot of different oracle decks. I have an animal oracle deck. If I do read tarot, I like Lenormand, which is a little bit different than the traditional Rider-Waite, where it's more symbology. All of the cards are more symboled.
I saw an orb. I swear I just saw a little tiny orb go behind you, but I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. There's a lot
of believes in orbs. I do, because our house, there's orbs that go and you can't.
So these, you can't really see them, but they're metal cloches. They're all, my friend Althea made them from pieces of Crescent. So that's all stuff from Crescent Sanatorium in there, like old cups and paint chips and all sorts of stuff. And then I have, oh, Lord knows what else I have behind me. Haunted dolls. I have animal bones. I have, it's hard to say. There's a lot of my pap stuff and my dad's stuff behind me too. But today on my doorstep, my husband gets home from work and he hands me this box. And I'm like, what is this? And it's in my maiden name. I got married last October. So like, I know it's nobody that I like recently met that would have bought me these. I did not buy me these. But I open it up and the one deck is a deck that I have lusted over for a while. He's a phenomenal artist. His name is Nicholas Bruno, and he did a limited run tarot deck a couple years ago. And it's all of his photography that he turned into each individual card. Well, apparently, and I didn't even know, apparently he came out with an oracle deck as well, his own created oracle deck, and then re-released the revised Somnia. I know it's backwards to you guys, but the Somnia deck. So I looked it up like to see, and he had a Kickstarter like at least 6 months ago or something like that. So somebody must have known, or the universe, I don't even know, knew that I wanted these and ordered them for me, I guess. And the Kickstarter was just like completely fulfilled, and he had like everything shipped out, and I got them. But like, I have no clue. I have no clue where they came from. I do love this tarot deck. Like, I'll show you some of the Rider-Waite art first. I do absolutely adore this tarot deck. The second I touched that oracle deck, I fell in love with it. I cannot wait to use it to do reads. It I'll show you pictures and stuff from it too. It's just the words that he chose, the artwork that he chose. It's incredible. So I'll show you some of the major arcana because that's what everybody recognizes the most.
Look how shiny.
They're very.
So, oh yeah, the backs of them are beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for example, that's the Lover's card.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. And it's all like his photography. Oh, everybody knows this card. The Hanged Man.
Wow.
And they're all like that. Like, I mean, even the whole way we want like a Two of Cups. Like, they're all photography everywhere.
Wow.
Those are nice.
Those are beautiful. So not only, I mean, so this is the deck that I lusted after for forever. And they all also come with, which I love because I use pendulums. They all also come with a pendulum card.
Wow.
So like I could lay this flat and hold the pendulum from my hand and still do a reading and not have to take like one of my big hangers or, whatever. But like I thought that deck was absolutely stunning. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't hold a candle to this deck. But for me, like the words and symbolism and everything on this deck are just so much more unique. And this one is it's still called the Somnia Tarot, but it's called the Oracle series.
Oh wow.
So, like, for example, this is the card. This card is called the Veil.
Ooh. Wow.
And then there's, this one's beautiful too. They're all beautiful. Ancestor.
Oh, yes.
And then there's the Guide and the Passage and the Persona and the Shadow. I love those two. So, like, if I'm going to read this and I get pull Persona and then right after it I pull Shadow, like, okay, I'm telling you, like, you need to go home and do some shadow work. Like, it's the deck is blatantly throwing that at me, like, but there's just so many, like, this is the Fated 3. That's what the deck is based off of.
Those are really neat cards.
And he sets up, like, these are all photographs he took. So he sets models up in these poses with all of this going on and takes that shot. And that becomes the card. Like, this one's called the Beacon. And it's just like a flame.
My goodness.
Underneath a bell.
Yeah, those are really nice.
Yeah. And I don't know. I love this deck. All the words that he chose, like, for all of them. This is one of my favorite cards. It's the Presence. And it just looks like somebody's haunted.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense.
They're stunning.
Yes.
Absolutely stunning. I haven't even, like, looked through all of them, like, yet, like, to even, like, get to know the, like, I've had this deck for a couple hours. Like, I, like, literally came home and it was, like, on the porch. And I have no clue. No clue where it even came from. This one's really cool, too. The Wayfarer.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah,
I just can't wait to jump into using those, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think these will be a really, really good addition to my Magpie, even just because of how symbol based they are, and that's how Magpie works a lot. Is very what each symbol means to me, and, like, what they all have going on, and so I think this would be a very good companion to it. And I really like Lenormand Tarot, which is very much this way. So, like, Lenormand has cards like the Path and the Ship and House, and so, like, Lenormand, like, the idea of Lenormand is usually a 3-card pull. And it's, you pull those 3 cards and those 3 cards tell the story. So if you have a house, a ship, a ship, an anchor, and a house, it means that you're like putting new roots down somewhere, kind of deal. Like your journey is going to lead to your home or where you're going to plant your roots, like that kind of thing is like how Lenormand kind of works. So this reminds me a lot of that. Even though it's an oracle deck, it reminds me a lot of Lenormand tarot.
See, I find those decks really, really fascinating. Like, I mean, when you did your magpie reading, I mean, I've never had that done before. And anybody that hasn't had it done, it's truly amazing. Like,
actually, it's not a new thing. It's a newer thing in the United States. The mentor that I had in her book and everything that I have, she's from the UK. And I don't think that many people over there do it either, though. But
I liked it. I thought it was very, very interesting. It was different because you get people doing the tarot cards, and you get used to seeing that done. And me, I'm kind of a little bit of a skeptic, which we were talking on Tuesday on the other side when I had my show on. It's not that I don't believe in tarot cards, but I feel like tarot cards sometimes get, depending on the person reading them, gets more of a game of chance rather than true reading. Now, like if you did a reading, I would be more likely to say, okay, she's got something there.
I don't think I have. I don't think I have a Rider-Waite deck in here because I would show you the difference of how no, I don't. So the traditional regular tarot deck, the Rider-Waite deck, like the one that everybody knows the iconography from and everything. If you actually take the time, and I'm not saying that people don't. I mean, some people probably don't. The best tarot readers that read from that deck actually understand that in each individual card in that deck, there is a million messages in one card. So the biggest one, probably that everybody like you can just remember off the top of your head is strength. Strength is a woman, and it looks like she's prying a lion's mouth open. She's actually not. She's holding the lion's mouth. She's holding her hands in the lion's mouth. She's holding a like red ribbon near it and stuff like that. And it's actually symbolizes her walking hand in hand with that lion as her strength. And then there's all kinds of other little symbolism in that card as well. So that's why, I mean, I absolutely do adore the original deck, but you have to know that. If you don't know that, and you don't know that all of that symbolism sits within each one of those cards, and you just know the basis of, okay, strength is strength, the hermit's the hermit, the world's the world, like stuff like that, and you don't know the deeper intent and the deeper meaning for all the artistry, the actual, like, the lady that completely, like, drew all the art for all of that and why she put all of those symbols in there. If you don't know all of that, you can't accurately, I personally don't think you can accurately read for somebody, because it's not that you're reading them wrong, you're just not reading them as in-depthly as you could be. Because if you pull that strength card and they really need you, like the question they're asking you or this, that, or whatever, really needs all of those little pieces to really give them that message and give them that strength, and you just say, oh yeah, here's the strength card, it's just telling you to be stronger in this situation. That's not giving them that full message that you just pulled for them, really. It's not. It's just glazing over the surface of it, when you could tell them, like, if you learn to walk with yourself and walk with your inner strength and your inner purpose and walk hand in hand with this or that or whatever, you can really broaden what they're supposed to be hearing a whole heck of a lot more, and it's going to mean a lot more to them, because it should. People do collect a lot of decks for decoration. I'm one of them. I don't read from those decks, though. In the tarot world, those are called, most of the time, I can't say they're all like that, most of the time we call them PIP decks, PIP. And they're the ones that, so the one off the top of my head I can think of is my Nightmare Before Christmas deck. The major arcana, which are going to be like your labeled like worded cards. So the World, the Tower, the Devil, the Empress, the Magician, the Hanged Man. There's a bunch of them. But those ones will all have actual artistry for them. So the Hanged Man might be Jack Skellington hanging upside down, or Sally unraveling, or something like that. But the rest of them, so if it's a 2 of Cups, and it should be showing like the shared cups and wealth flowing over and stuff like that, is how it actually is in the Rider-Waite deck. They don't have that. It's back to just 2 cups on a card that look like a regular deck of cards kind of deal. I mean, they're stylized in The Nightmare Before Christmas, but there's no symbology on them at all anymore. So if you don't have all that memorized and you don't know what the 2 of Cups stands for, and you can't see that Rider-Waite like or original tarot like set in your head, and just know that that's what that means, there's no like cheaters for you in a pip deck. And I don't personally, I just have never found the right kind of energy in them to use them that way. I have all kinds. I have a Night Before Christmas deck. I have a Cthulhu deck. I have cats. I actually, a lot of my decks that I have that we collect that are like just random because they look cool, I get people to sign them. So I do own Zach Baggins's tarot deck, and it is signed by Zach Baggins.
Wow.
I just had to. I just had to have it. We watched it for purposes, and I had to have it. I have a cat deck that Patty has signed. I actually have a Rider-Waite deck that I have like people pick out their favorite card out of it and sign it. Like Ryan Dayton has signed one. My friend Brienne and I can't remember who all. I think Brienne and Amy and Emily, maybe all from Spirit Seekers, all signed their card in my deck. I know Larissa and Alan signed a card in my deck. Corey Mason, Danger, Mike Castro, he signed one in my deck. So like I have a deck that's like that I just have a bunch of random people, like not random people, but like people that I run into in the industry that I like and respect and all that kind of stuff. I have them sign. And then, like I said, like I have, a couple of the, other ones that I've had my idols and stuff sign. Other than that, I just like to collect them. I collect all kinds of stuff. Thus the whole magpie part. I'm like a crow. If it's shiny, I'm probably going to try to put it in my book. No lie. I came home with so many rocks from our journey to Rock Island and back. It's fine.
Do you collect like colored glass too, like from glass factories? And
all of it.
I kind of thought you did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have some of the glass insulators that came off of like telephone poles.
Wow.
Some of those. I have jars of all kinds of random things. Dirt. If I've been to a location, I probably have a piece of its dirt or something. Just saying.
I didn't know that was even a thing until I talked to you,
Right.
when we was at the festival, and I didn't know.
Yeah, I have, I mean, like, I'm not ever disrespectful or anything like that. Like, I'm not going to steal, like, a chunk of, like, a wall or,
right.
Whatever. But, like, it could be a rock from the sidewalk of us walking up, like, a piece of gravel. That's enough for me. I don't need anything else. I have all kinds of, I don't know. If it's weird, strange, or unusual, I probably want it.
Just don't go on an investigation and steal the tools.
Yeah, you want to make sure you don't take those. No black magic, no dark magic.
Oh my goodness, she knew I would have to get that in.
Somebody has to.
Does anybody have any questions?
That's what I investigate for. It's the easiest way to thieve.
Yeah.
I pay a shit ton of money to investigate a location, but I'm going to take your stuff.
What does that say to the investigators? You're going there because you want to communicate with the afterlife, hopefully, and you have to worry about, oh yeah, while I'm here, I'm going to steal the tools.
Right.
Well, you need me a hammer.
Really
Yeah, I need me a hammer.
really need that screwdriver.
Does anybody have any questions on here? Because I know Brittany's had a long week, and I'm sure she's probably wanting to call it a night. So let's see if anybody. I'm not seeing anything on here.
Yeah, I've been looking for questions. I haven't seen
Yeah, I don't.
everyone that popped up.
I think we got all the questions and that. And Brittany, I would love to have you back on again. I know this channel isn't real popular and has like thousands and thousands of subscribers and all that, but you're just so fascinating, and the subscribers and followers that I do have, and I'm sure the ones that followed on your behalf that came on here tonight. You're just, we could probably, I know Gabriella probably had 1,000 things in her mind, like, I really want to ask her this, but she didn't. And so I would love to have you back on sometime again, because we could literally talk to you for hours.
I mean, maybe after Mid-O or something, because then I'll have had like the event in Maryland, I'll have had Hexenfest, and then Mid-O, and I'm sure I'll have some fun things to talk about, because I've been investigated in a long time. I mean, I investigated at the Roadhouse a little bit. We had some interesting things go on, but I haven't like investigated, and we're investigating at Mid-O, so.
Yeah, see, that's how we are. We just devoted so much time to the location we were at that our channel, we just kind of neglected it, and because that's all we concentrated on. So now we do have an investigation come up, which I did tell you about. We have it coming up on the 18th, the day before my birthday. So I'm hoping we catch something. I don't know what, because never been there, and it's a newer place. So, but we're going to try to get back on that. But again, just let me know availability for you, and let's try to get you back on here again, because you're just an amazing person. We just love you, and I know it's on here probably could listen to you for hours.
I could talk for hours. You've got a question, I could probably find a way to answer it. It's fine.
Yeah, you're very fascinating. I like how knowledgeable you are. I like all the different areas that you can cover, the cards, the dolls, like the clairvoyance and all the clairs, and like the range of things that you are knowledgeable about is just amazing. And I know everybody that's been viewing is just, I'm honored to have you on the show.
Thanks. And I mean, if you want to follow all the crazy stuff that I do, because I do some weird things, I'm always working with Get Haunted in some capacity, so you can follow them. They're always up to some cool stuff too, everybody that's involved there. I will be at Hexenfest soon. Raven Files over there on the side. It's my friend Leah. We're going to get up to some interesting things here sooner than later, with some podcast stuff, I think. And my two teams that I work with, other than Get Haunted, is Open Portal Paranormal. We do some fun stuff. That's what we'll be at the event in Maryland with Snarly Yow. And then Swartz Paranormal Investigators are some of my other friends that I work with. I'm their spiritualist on their team. And a lot of times we do a lot more Ghostbusters kind of deal. Like, who are you going to call? Like, somebody's having an issue at a restaurant or a bank or who knows where. And they're, they have their nonprofit and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different of a workings of a team. It's back to kind of the basics, and I love it. Helping people and figuring out what's going on in places that most people don't get to investigate because it's not an open place to investigate, and assisting them in navigating, their life with the paranormal or spirits they have around and stuff like that. Open Portal Paranormal. That's the cool team we get to go. We're all cool team. They're all cool teams. I don't want to say that.
Yeah, but, we have all their links listed over there.
We get to go do some fun stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of events. We'll all be at Fairfield County Infirmary for FCI Con next year. We film and stuff like that, so there'll be YouTube videos and stuff like that sorts. We don't really film too much. And then Get Haunted. I'm always affiliated doing something with them on Sarah's podcast on the Paranormally Blonde workbook. That's where my Claire classes all are and my worksheets. Now that Rock Island and everything is done and we have a little bit of time to breathe before, my next couple events, I'll be throwing up some more like worksheets and tips and the coloring sheets and all of that kind of stuff. Open Portal Paranormal, you should be able to just find it on Facebook. I believe there is a page and a group. Our picture is either a black ghost. I don't know if Nicole is still in here or not.
I saw somebody put the link up on there before.
Open Portal. You just literally look up Open Portal Paranormal. One of our logos is just a black ghost that says Open Portal Paranormal around it, and the other one is all 4 of our beautiful faces. You'll see Snarly and Nicole, and then me, and then Randall down in the corner.
So all of you guys catch Paranormally Blonde, Open Portal, Get Batty with Brittany.
That's my main page.
Files,
I share all of it on there. So if you find that one, you'll find it all.
Yeah. So make sure you tune in, and I'm glad Brittany got a chance to answer all the questions. I know you guys were amazed and captivated with everything she was saying tonight. And again, Brittany, you're just truly amazing. I'm glad that we have become friends. Glad that you have come into my life. You've opened my eyes up about a lot of things. You did answer a lot of my questions tonight. Just continue on the path you're going, girl. You're like really, you're going in the right direction. And I think you have a really, really, it's like I said before, you shine like the star that you are. So you have a good future. So
I try. I have good people supporting me.
You do. And I mean, Sarah and Rob on Get Haunted. I'm in Paranormally Blonde. I try to tune in when I can to watch your shows. I had one earlier today about the Conjuring House and Rob buying it. So, but yeah, definitely everybody tune into any of those venues there. You're never, ever going to have a dull moment with Brittany. I mean, she's just fascinating. So
if anybody has questions that they're afraid to ask in chats or anything like that, like my inbox is open. I'm an open book. If I can help you, I will. If I can't help you, I guarantee you I know somebody that can, or know somebody that can get you to somebody that can.
Sounds great. And I guess with that there, make that their last little bit of reaching out. If you need her for anything, she just said, just reach on out to her. Brittany definitely will she will get back to you, definitely. So, Brittany, Gabriella, was there anything that you wanted? And any final comments that you wanted to say, Brittany, before we go?
No, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for having me on and for always supporting me, believing in me, not believing in any drama or bullshit, and always for being in my corner.
And we thank you so much. Ditto, exactly what you said. You've supported us. You know a lot of what's been going on and stuff. You've been a rock on our side for us. So thank you. You were awesome tonight, and I look forward to our next show that we have with you. So just give me dates and times, and we'll get you scheduled again.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, everybody, we're going to call it a night. Brittany, thank you so much. We love you. We love all of you that tuned in tonight. And with that being said, we're going to say, love you guys. Bye, Brittany.
Bye.
You have a good evening. Bye, everyone.